got a lot of mutants in this episode.
Yep.
Okay, now we're going to skip straight to the end because I have to address something that will become a problem with this show with me and become a genuine gripe if they do literally any more of what they just did in the past 2 episodes. I understand this is an adult show now, and we're allowed to kill characters. If at this point 80% of characters that supposedly died didn't, you're devaluing doing that in an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier and both Magneto, a selling point of 2 of the biggest episodes and the basis of the start of this series, were supposed to be dead and aren't. I understand you're 2 incredibly important people, but you can't sell the premise of a show and one of the most impactful episodes of said show and then just go, nah, we fooled you, within 2 episodes of each other.
That's the kicker.
You're not allowed to fake a death again. Ever. Otherwise, I'm going to start not caring when characters die, and I don't want that to happen to the show. And I'm not going to believe them when characters die, ever. I understand people come back in comics, and that's one of the biggest things that 90% of people that read comics bitch about.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot do this again.
We've only become desensitized to, characters keep coming back because it's been happening for, 40 plus years at least?
It is. Yeah, but when we're kind of shown, oh shit, stuff can happen because it's an adult show now, and then it doesn't, simply because, oh no, haha, we actually can't pull the ballsy move of getting rid of the marketable character. We can just tell you we were thinking about faking it. No. I'm sorry. If it's going to be a cock tease for 6 seasons straight about how, no, now Scott leads the X-Men. No, now, this time, he's actually the leader and we're not bringing back a different one. Commit to deaths from now on. If the only one you're going to commit to somehow is Gambits, it's not a great thing. Because it shows you're only willing to kill an extremely replaceable character. Don't do this anymore. Don't. At all. Don't. You have literally hundreds of just X-Men mutants.
Mm-hmm.
You do not need to start faking deaths of important characters. You don't. And also, we thought Emma Frost was dead. Guess who's not dead either?
Okay, now it's starting to become a problem.
See what I'm saying? We can't keep doing this. This is going to become a legit issue with the show that I said had no fucking issues. If this continues.
Yeah, now to be clear, this is just a warning. This isn't like, oh, the show sucks now.
It doesn't, but I'm telling you now, if this shit continues, my opinion's gonna change. I'm just telling you, the fucking buck stops here. You can't fake both Charles, Magneto, and Emma Frost within, at this point, a 7-episode stretch and just go, gotcha! Just JK, just kidding. We really didn't have the balls to do that. Don't do this anymore. Because this is a really good episode, other than that starting to become an encroaching issue. All right. Anyway, so this entire episode got to be basically what I was hoping it was going to be. A Rogue isn't taking anyone's shit anymore.
Yeah. She is 100% living up to her name.
Mm-hmm. She is. And, oh boy, do the rumors of a shared 90s universe sound really good right now when in this episode, outside of mutants, we also got to see Ross and Captain fucking America.
Voiced by Josh Keaton, and
there was no reason he needed to be in that episode. None. He helped the plot. Nada. All it showed was Rogue still does not care. Nothing in the episode changes if both Ross and Cap don't show up.
At best, what he did is he pointed Rogue to New Mexico or Mexico City.
Yeah, I get that, but you didn't need Captain America of all people to do it. That's where I'm like, you're gonna start showing things and setting expectations that this is not just an X-Men show.
Oh, I'm sure talks are happening.
Because just in the scene where they were in Genosha, they probably showed like 20 New Mutants. They're not afraid to show tens of new characters every episode, even if they don't get lines.
Yep.
It's unreal. Like, it used to be, no, we didn't draw new people because the animation budget. Now it's, no, we're just going to purposely put 17 new mutants in every episode.
Yeah, that's because the show is largely made by fans and people who worked on the original.
Yes. So I have to add that someone in the show is a fan of Evangelion.
Of course they are.
Because Rogue's kick at that tank was a literal shot-for-shot recreation of the Eva kick. Down to the T of how the arms were posed.
Yep.
Like he's mentioned Captain and Thunderbolt. One thing that I thought was weird, and I don't remember, I'd have to go back and look on it. In comics, and oh boy, I'm blanking, did Emma get her diamond skin later on?
I think so.
Because they made it as an after effect mutation in the show, and I do not remember if she had it right away.
I will have to consult with the experts on that one.
Yeah. But that was, of all the people that they didn't have Madeline survive, but they had Emma survive. Remember when I said in the other episode that, oh boy, for a change, Madeline is being the psychokinetic cheater. We killed off Madeline and saved Emma. I wonder what might happen now. Also, I think the most understanding and not understanding at the same time admittance to a mutant ever in an X-Men cartoon or movie just happened. Oh, thank God you're a mutant. That would explain why 3 of our houses burned. And Jubilee's like, just coax her down, do some smooth stalking. Mom, I'm a mutant. Or that.
I love their relationship so much.
They are pretty good. It's given Jubilee a lot.
But then they end that scene with, oh, yay. Of course I've always known. But now we got to keep it private for politics reasons.
You know what this reminds me of? Now I'm not able to think of the mutant's name. They're treating this like Angel and his parents. Warren Worthington, I believe his name. I believe is Angel's real name because his parents were super rich, but they didn't want them to know their son was a mutant.
Oh, are you talking about the line, have you ever tried not being a mutant?
Yeah, that, or like, people like to boo-hoo it, but I swear I'm remembering this correctly. The opening scene of X3, the movie, is hardcore. Do you not remember that it's Angel literally clipping his own wings as like a kid, hoping his dad doesn't find out?
Oh, God, I remember that now.
People like to rip the shit out of X3. There's some genuinely amazing scenes in that movie. Like the scene with Storm bitching out Rogue about about wanting the cure and helpless and just Storm tearing her head off that there's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to be cured.
I
Man.
actually like X3 more than most people.
Yeah, I do too. I will admit there are some unbelievably stupid decisions.
Like
Like,
Juggernaut.
oh, like Juggernaut notwithstanding. Juggernaut was a cartoon hammy villain that I don't know how they would have done Juggernaut otherwise in a movie. Because you're not going to bring up the freaking red diamond that makes him whatever. You're not going to waste a whole movie explaining how it's Xavier's half brother and all this other stuff. No, it's making Callisto changing her powers, making Psylocke be a random, although unbelievably attractive goth girl with with a purple slit in her hair, and she teleports.
Yeah, that's no.
Why even make them that? Just make it undisclosed mutant B. I didn't even know that was Psylocke till I saw the credits. I'm like, why did you call that mutant Psylocke? They didn't even need a name. Yeah, so I also, oh man, I can't remember. I know that they do it in comics and they really mentioned it in Evolution. What uh I'm trying to remember in the old show if Rogue and Nightcrawler
Nightcrawler.
really had the uh adoptive sister deal, because I'm trying to remember in the old cartoon if they ever discussed the whole she kind of got raised by Mystique thing.
I
Trying to remember. I'm
I
still
don't
making my way through it every now and then, but
I don't recall from the original series, but I know in Evolution.
oh, it was a big thing in Evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like how they just make little lines of stuff that might not have happened on screen. They just act like, "Oh, we don't need to." It's the exact opposite of the thing I bitched about with you so many times that I hate, where character A and B are having a conversation, but they have to play the fucking pronoun game because the viewers are watching.
Oh, yep.
To where no, we would have this conversation. No person that would need to know your secret is listening. You could just talk. That's the exact opposite. And they're doing the good version of that, where they're just like, no one might know about this, but hey, you got really unlucky in the adoptive sister department. Just like,
It's just played so matter of fact.
yeah, it's talking as if they're people that know each other. But having the whole team track her down and not even be mad that A, she's done some very illegal things over the past day and a half, and you're just like, we just want to help you. You've gone on a bit of a rampage and destroyed military property, but we love you. Please listen. And quite literally, and man, they faked a fourth death in this episode, but
Trask.
at least it turned into something that was good. Trask being a Sentinel Prime. Yeah, where he's just kicked the ever living shit out of everyone until Cable shows up. Who now I remembered Cable was in the original show, but I forgot that his Madeline Pryor was never mentioned. They just never knew that it was his kid. And now all of a sudden they're like, oh, now that I look at you and remember all this and that, and now if he just disappears again, that's going to be really weird.
I feel like now he's gonna stick around a little bit more. Like definitely for the 3-part finale.
Yeah. That they tanked him with that grenade. That was a good touch. And now I know almost nothing about Bastion, but my feed has been berated with it over the last few days of like he's just another master mold kind of person that was dealing with that, and Sinister is working for him, and he is bordering on giving Magneto the Buffalo Bill treatment.
It certainly looks that way.
Shaving him, getting him ready for his presentation or whatever he mentioned.
Oh God. So we are only assuming that Magneto is like alive and not just like and he's not just like propping up his body, but
I'm going to assume he is, considering he has an inhibitor collar on him.
okay, fair. But where I'm getting at is, are they going to turn Magneto into a like a human sentinel?
Oh, maybe they could. That'd be something different. We have to wonder when Xavier's going to come back. And I don't know if he's going to do that, because I don't think he'd be shaving him. I don't know. I don't know enough about Bastion to even think what the hell this dude's going to do.
Me neither.
And yeah, I don't know enough to even make rough guesses. I just know that he is an odd individual. When you're the odd individual sitting in the same room as Mr. Sinister, you're an odd individual. But yeah, I don't know. They left on a rather just defunct, this is a clean cut, the finale starts next week kind of deal. So I don't know.
Something else that I kind of want to talk about is just seeing Genosha in ruins and how that's kind of just dividing humans and mutants even further, even going as far as Hank and the reporter like kind of having a falling out.
Yeah, when you have Hank Pym of all people throwing shade at you, you screwed up. Oh God, yeah, and the also the ceremony for Gambit was really great. I do like how they don't forget that Nightcrawler is a very religious character.
Yep.
People like to forget that sometimes, that he is incredibly steeped in religion. Like a lot of times also, people just randomly like to forget that Daredevil is one of the most Catholic guilt-ridden people in comics. They just they just like to forget that sometimes when they make complaints about the character. I'm like, do you know anything about the character?
Yeah, the Netflix show made that like abundantly clear.
Yeah.
Also, not a criticism, just an observation. Have you noticed that like 9 out of 10 scenes of a funeral will take place in the rain?
Oh yeah, because it's more sad. It can't be sad if the sun's out. It always has got to be that. Everyone's got to be drenching wet. That's got to be happening. Yeah, it's the rules, and I get it. Anime characters die in episode 8 on a ship in the rain. Anyone who's watched her content just knows me as a person, knows what I'm referencing there. Or if you don't, have fun and figure out what two animes have the exact same relationship between two characters, and then one of them dies in episode 8 on a ship in the rain. It's really on point in those two animes. Yeah, again, show is really good. You're not you're not allowed to fake a death one more time unless you do like 4 more seasons of the show and then do another one.
Yeah, this is the stress test. Like, and any more in that, I won't go as far as to say it'll ruin the show, but it will damage your credibility.
It'll damage me ever thinking a character is in real danger. Because the X-Men have gotten the shit kicked out of them in a good amount of the episodes, and one still, but the situation where people actually died, you resurrect 70% of them. And everyone's going to say, but Brock, like, 200 mutants died. Yeah, and none of them had names. Even though I knew who some of them were based on their powers in the background, no one else watching was like, oh no, Pixie's dead. And you know who else didn't care to mention it? The news reporters on the news, because they weren't going out of their way to mention those characters that they weren't going to bring back, because they aren't.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, again, still good. Just that needs to be watched. You got anything else, Mike? Where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/Coach K42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, on Podchaser. Consider supporting our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. Need escape? So do we.
Absolutely. And you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mostly on Twitch and YouTube. And until next time, we'll see you all later. Bye.
Peace.